Heading into year 4 under Timmy Chang, Hawaii is looking to make it back to their first bowl game since 2021, a game that would be cancelled. They've gone 3-10, 5-8, and 5-7 his first 3 years, just missing out on a bowl game last year. Finally, hope and excitement is back in the program. After fantastic quarterback play by Chang and Colt Brennan back in the 2000s, when Hawaii was put on the map for football, they may finally have their guy to bring them back to greatness again in a 5'10", 180-pound redshirt freshman quarterback. That man is Micah Alejado, who, on one leg last week, led the Rainbow Warriors to a thrilling win over Stanford in Week 0 and looked like the real deal. This is the story of Micah Alejado, but before we get into this, if you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know who you want me to talk about in the future in the comment section below. Micah Alejado is originally from Honolulu, Oahu, and grew up on the island up until high school. While he was growing up, Alejado would train with renowned quarterback coach Vince Passis, as well as Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. He looked up to Tua, explaining to the Aloha State Daily, "I've always wanted to be my own quarterback, but growing up it was always Tua. The thing he was doing in high school and just being able to throw with him on the weekends and become close with their family, it just made me see how humble he is as a person and see how he carried himself, and it inspired me a lot." Micah was close with Tua as his brother was one of St. Louis's top receivers while Tua was playing for them. Everyone knew Micah was going to be the next great quarterback to come from the island, and many expected him to play for St. Louis when the time came. Instead, after making a name for himself on the youth circuit, Alejados made the decision to move to Las Vegas. Instead of becoming the next great St. Louis quarterback, it was up to Alejado to create his own legacy at Bishop Gorman. They would move while Micah was in middle school, and it was not an easy transition. He explained, "At first it was hard because I was young, and I still wasn't matured yet, and didn't know how to think about it and stuff, but I was enjoying it at the same time. Some days would be hard, just being homesick, and Hawaii was all I knew. But then over time, I just got more acclimated to Vegas and fell in love with it. Went through high school, made all the new friends, met a lot of people. So I love Vegas. It was fun, and that's my home too." Over the years, Las Vegas became known as the Ninth Island due to the amount of Hawaiians that have moved to the area over the years. Micah would quickly make a name for himself, making 2 appearances in the spring of 2021 high school football season, throwing for 245 yards and 5 touchdowns. His best game, his freshman year, came when he completed 14 of his 23 passes for 228 yards and 4 touchdowns. Bishop Gorman would host St. Louis in Micah's first game of his sophomore season, and he would lead the Gales to a 42-21 win, throwing for 194 yards. Bishop Gorman would finish year 12-1, winning the Nevada State title 56-7, with their only loss coming to Hamilton out of conference 25-24. Alejado finished the year throwing for 2,699 yards, 31 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, while also adding 5 touchdowns on the ground. As a junior, Micah would lead the Gales to a 14-1 record, with their lone loss coming to Mater Dei, 24-21. Following the Mater Dei loss, Bishop Gorman traveled to Hawaii to take on St. Louis, where Alejado would shine, throwing for 293 yards and 5 touchdowns, completing 18 of his 22 passes, finding Trek Kakahuna twice for scores. I had to mention the Badger wide receiver at least once in this video. The Gales would win 56-14, amassing 587 total yards of offense, compared to St. Louis's 178. Micah finished his junior year throwing for 3,575 yards and 54 touchdowns, only throwing 2 interceptions all year, while also rushing for 353 yards and 3 more touchdowns on the ground. He was named the Max Preps National Junior of the Year, completing 76% of his passes. It was a truly amazing year, but his senior year may have been even better. As a senior, Micah would lead Bishop Gorman to a 12-0 record, throwing for 2,714 yards and 35 touchdowns, whilst rushing for 3 touchdowns on the ground, being named a Max Prep second-team All-American. Even more impressively, he would not throw a single interception all year long. Bishop Gorman would be named the 2023 Max Preps National Champions. Led by Micah, Bishop Gorman averaged 54.1 points per game and beat powerhouses like schools like Corner Canyon, Long Beach Poly, Sentinel, and Central Miami. In the 2 matchups against the second best team in the state of Nevada, Liberty, they would outscore the Patriots 105-17, and outscored Nevada schools 376-65. In 3 years as a full-time starter, Micah would lead Bishop Gorman to a 38-2 record and win 39-2 if you include his freshman year game. Finished his career throwing for 9,233 yards, 125 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, while also rushing for 11 touchdowns on the ground. Due to playing for a national powerhouse and putting up the numbers he did in high school as a 4-year starter, you would expect someone like Micah Alejado to be a top-ranked recruit with an offer list longer than a child's Christmas list. That would not actually be the case, as Micah would be rated a 3-star recruit, who was the 92nd best quarterback in the 2024 recruiting class according to 24/7 Sports Composite. He earned 6 offers from the likes of Hawaii, Nevada, Old Dominion, Portland State, UNLV, and Utah State. The kid who won the National Player of the Year as a junior and led Bishop Gorman to the national title as a senior could not earn a single Power 4 offer, which is absolutely insane. The issue was his size, as he was only 5'10" and weighed 160 pounds coming out of high school, according to 24/7 Sports. Heading into his senior year, Micah would commit to Hawaii with the plans to return where he grew up and lead the Rainbow Warriors back to prominence in college football. Then, UNLV would come calling, making a late push to bring Alejado in. Instead, Micah would stay committed to Hawaii, explaining on early National Signing Day, "Yeah, UNLV pushed for me a lot, but I'm big on loyalty. When I committed in April, I knew I was going to come to Hawaii no matter what. So I made that a push. It's a part of the recruiting process, part of having fun as a kid. You only get to enjoy it once, but Hawaii is my home, and I can't wait to get back down there." He didn't care that UNLV had nicer facilities than Hawaii, giving them the opportunity to play at Allegiant Stadium. He went on to tell Spectrum Local News, "I believe I've always been a guy who's made do with what you have, being grateful for what you have. I think Coach Timmy has something in the running, and I think this year could be a big breakout year for him as well." Timmy Chang and the coaching staff loved Micah, making multiple visits to show how much Micah meant to them. Chang explained, "Micah's been solid with us since June. We spent a lot of time on him because he's valuable. We think he's going to lead our program one day, and he's a great quarterback. Anytime you've got a great quarterback, the probability of you winning games goes up. Really believe in his skill set. We want to give him the attention that he needs so that he could come out here." The late visits meant a lot to Micah, as it showed the staff wanted to make him known they are going to be more of a family, not just as coaches. He turned down more NIL money to go to Hawaii. Hawaii quarterback coach Chad Kapanua explained, "I already knew he was different. He carried himself like a real professional, especially at the high school level. He always wanted to watch film. He always had questions. At the same time, when we asked him questions he already knew, he then also asked the right questions to us too. I guess you could say he's a hidden secret right now. But I think if you know Hawaii football, you know the quarterbacks throughout the years, and he's one of those guys that could build his own legacy here too at the same time. We're excited about him, and we're hoping for a big year from him." Micah would enroll early at Hawaii, but would spend the season sitting behind senior quarterback Braden Shager. The plan was to play Micah in 4 games to preserve his redshirt and develop him for the 2025 season. Looking back at it, he is grateful for having to sit and learn this last season, telling the Aloha State Daily, "When I grow up and get older, I'll look back at the time and think it was probably one of the greatest lessons in my life that I had to learn. I was still growing and graduating early and leaving early. It was hard for me, for sure, not being able to finish out high school. When I look back, I'm going to value that a lot. It just taught me a lot as a person and helped me grow as a person, spiritually and emotionally. It was tough because I've been in the spotlight, and sitting back last year, having last year go on the way it went, it was tough for everybody for sure, but I trusted God's plan. That's just how I go on my days, so I'm just thankful for the lessons that I've learned from last year." He would see some playing time against Northern Iowa and Fresno State. He got his first real reps against Utah State, completing 11 of his 12 passes for 111 yards and his first career touchdown. But his real breakout game came against New Mexico. When Shager went down with a knee injury, Alejado would get his first career start, and he would not disappoint, throwing for 469 yards and 5 touchdowns, and rushing for 54 yards on the ground, becoming the first UH quarterback to throw for 450-plus yards and rush for 50-plus yards in a game, while tallying the 10th best total offensive performance of 523 yards in school history. His 523 yards were the second most in the FBS in 2024. He broke the Hawaii record for single-game passing yards and touchdowns by a freshman, along with a slew of other records as well. He finished the year throwing for 585 yards and 6 touchdowns, completing 70% of his passes. Into the 2025 season, there was a lot of excitement for Hawaii, with Micah being the unofficial face of the program. From that day forward of his breakout game, Alejado had been making appearances at local events and buying meals for his teammates with NIL money. Even during spring practice, coaches on the offensive side of the ball made the claims that the team belonged to Alejado. Heading into their game against Stanford, Alejado became the first freshman to start the season opener for Hawaii since Tyler Gronke in 2005. During off-season workouts, Alejado had mastered the intricacies of an offense rooted in the run and shoot with accompanying elements of the West Coast air raid and run-pass option schemes. He dug into film to be the most prepared person on the field, telling the Hawaii Tribune-Herald, "The thing about me is I'm a big football geek. 24/7 football. I live and breathe football. I'm a big film guy. Every time I watch film of the other team, I'm learning a lot. I'm not doing much to the rest of the week besides school. By Friday before the game, I have a good feeling of what I'm going to see on Saturday. Going out there and trusting what you see, what you saw on film, and trusting the coach's game plan." He did the same thing when he studied bowling several weeks before playing the sport in high school, leading to him bowling multiple 300 games. The guy knows how to break down in his mind what you need to do to be successful and can process at such a high level. The world would see that as he impressed against Stanford last week, throwing for 210 yards and 2 touchdowns, also rushing for 36 yards on the ground, all while playing on one leg. He would go down awkwardly on a sack in the third quarter and would not be able to put much weight on the foot for the rest of the game. That would not stop him from leading Hawaii to a comeback win to start the year off 1-0. Heading into this weekend's game, coming off their first Power 4 win in the Timmy Chang era, Alejado is expected to play when they travel to Arizona. Chang said Wednesday, "There's a lot of great people in Hawaii, by the way, that want to help and have reached out. Micah has been aggressive on his rehab process, and there's a game plan that has to go in. He's dialed in. He's been here all day Sunday, all day Monday, and now Tuesday. He's got a process he has to go through. And so as long as he continues to get better, we're expecting him to go." Alejado is a baller who has not lost as a starter for 1,100 days and has not thrown an interception since November 11th, 2022. They are 17.5-point underdogs against Arizona tomorrow, who is led by Brent Brennan, a former Hawaii grad assistant and cousin of the late Colt Brennan. Hawaii is surprisingly 5-1 all-time against Arizona. I hope Alejado is able to bring Hawaii back to a bowl game and even more success. What do you think? Is Micah Alejado the real deal? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.